Hey friend, John MacLennan here, and in this video we're going to talk about soloing over Every Rose Has Its Thorn as recorded by Poison on guitar. Now I'm going to break down the first solo that you hear, this little interlude part that's got some cool tasty little rock licks in, and then we're going to talk about how you can take those licks and those ideas and work them into your own solo. Before we jump in though, if you're new, I want to hook you up with a gift right away. I put together this awesome fretboard guide that's going to show you the 5 must-know chords and scales to play in any style, anywhere on the neck. And this is actually going to tie in perfectly today with the lesson we're talking about, where we're going to use a little bit of a scale, and the scale is on that PDF. You can check it out, and it's going to show you just an available sort of pool of notes that you can choose from when you're soloing over a progression like this. So this whole PDF is just 1 page long. It's going to show you all of that on it, and I want to give it to you completely for free. Just go to johnmaclennan.com/fretboardguide or use the first link down below to grab your copy. All right, well with that said, let's dive into some of these licks. Let's dive into some soloing tips here for Every Rose Has Its Thorn, and we're gonna steal some ideas from the solo and then talk about how we can play over this progression. Now, just as a review here, the progression, I'm tuned down a half step, so make sure you're tuned down a half step. And then we're going from a G chord to a C chord, or like a C add 9, just this typical sound where you're on your G like this, and then you move down just those 2 fingers. Now, the licks that are played on top here in the first solo go like this. 3, 4. Now the first part starts out in this kind of bluesy bend that does a little bit of a wild vibrato, like. And what that is really the 14th fret here on the 3rd string. I'm just gonna do a bend up and then kind of dip it down and then add some vibrato. Then from there, we're gonna bend the 15th fret, but 1 string down, so on the 2nd string. Now we're bending that up a whole step, and then it goes to just the resolved note. So, then we have the second lick that goes like this. And this is nice because it starts to use a little bit of the major scale, G major scale. So here we're hammering from 12 to 14. On the 4th string, then 12 on the 3rd string, then pull off 14 to 12, then 14 on the 4th string. Then we're going to play 13 to 12, pull off on the 2nd string, then roll your finger over, grab 12 on the 3rd string. Then we'll finish with a bend on that same note that we first bent, that 14th fret on the 3rd string. So, now that's starting on the E of 3, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E. Then we have these triplets. And we finish with the bend. So far these 2 phrases go 1 E and a. Okay, the last part goes and jumps up. So instead of 15, like what we did before on the 2nd string, we're now going to shift to the 1st string, do a big bend, and then bring it back down to natural. And that's a whole step. And then back down to natural. You could just add a little vibrato. So all together, it sounds like this. 3 and a 4 and a 1 and. All right, so that's the first solo there, and really, as I mentioned, you're going from that G to C. And what I think about here is my G chord shape from Caged. So I actually get this scale. And those are going to be all great notes that you can pick from to solo over this chord progression. You know, you can hear even in the solo, right? Like, here's your scale. See how there's different ways that you can combine those notes and play some really cool phrases. So let me give an example of just playing over that progression, sort of in that style. Great work on making it through these tips on how to solo over Every Rose Has Its Thorn, as recorded by Poison on guitar. Now make sure to download the Fretboard guide for further information on putting this all together and show you some of those scale patterns we talked about and how you can start seeing the chord shapes and everything in this song. Now, one other tip you could do is you could play this chord progression into a looper pedal and then just practice jamming these licks over that chord progression. Just drop in the licks and play it note for note. And then as you get comfortable, you can mess with it, tweak the rhythms, and put your own feel on it. But that's a great way to sort of take some ideas from a recording and then start working it into your own vocabulary. All right, so don't forget to grab your Fretboard guide and leave a comment down below and let me know your #1 struggle with guitar right now. Just comment it down below. Thanks for your support with the videos, and we'll see you in another one real soon.